Welcome back, guys. Today we're at Calvary Cemetery, just north of Chicago in Evanston, Illinois. And this is one of the most historic cemeteries in this area. And today we're going to check out one of the most fascinating graves that I've ever seen in my years of cemetery exploration. And we're going to check out a few other notable people and interesting monuments. So come along and let's check it out. Now, when you often think of Chicago, one of the first things that you think of are Chicago-style hot dogs and baseball. And people love the Cubs, especially here on the north side. But people here sometimes tend to forget that Chicago has two baseball teams, the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. Now, Chicago Cub fans would love to forget that the Chicago White Sox exist, but they are very much an active baseball team, and they have a huge fan base south of the city, which is kind of surprises me that this is Charles Comiskey. I'm kind of surprised that he's not buried south of the city, but he is here in Evanston, Illinois. Now, he started off as a Major League Baseball player. He became a manager and then a team owner, and he was a key person in the formation of the American League. He was the founding owner of the Chicago White Sox, and Comiskey Park was named in his honor. Now, he was also the team owner during the famous Black Sox scandal, where 8 of the players were accused of throwing the World Series in exchange for money from a gambling syndicate. Now, it's believed that many of these players looked at it as an opportunity to cash in, since players didn't make a lot of money back then, and Comiskey was kind of seen as a cheapskate by a lot of the players. Now, all 8 players, including the legendary Shoeless Joe Jackson, were permanently banned from baseball. Charles Comiskey passed away in Eagle River, Wisconsin in 1931 at the age of 72. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame posthumously in 1939. It's a pretty fitting monument for a baseball legend. Now, if you come and visit, you pull in the main entrance, you take your first left, and then he's about halfway down on the left-hand side. Now, this is a very old and historic cemetery. There are a lot of Chicago mayors buried here. Most of Chicago mayors are actually buried here, and a lot of Chicago politicians. But some of the more interesting graves I'm going to show you coming up. This is kind of fascinating. O'Brien, I'm not sure whose this is, but it's just a neat memorial. Here's a monument for St. Patrick, Apostle of Ireland. Kind of a neat piece here. Now, just up here is the main reason why I wanted to do this video. There is one of the most fascinating graves I've ever seen in my life up here, and I'm going to tell you the story about it. But some people find it creepy, some find it fascinating, some find it beautiful. There is some haunted legend and lore that comes along with it. But let's take a look. Now, we're going to walk over to it right now, but let me know in the comments if you find this creepy, if you find it spooky, or if you find this just a beautiful tribute. But this is going to be the grave of Joseph, otherwise nicknamed Josie Lyon. Now, he was the youngest child of George and Catherine Lyon. George came over from Ireland and became a saloon keeper, and later he was the co-founder of the Lyon and Healy company, which produces musical instruments, specifically harps. They are still in business today. They were a very well-off family. They lived in some of the best neighborhoods. They had a live-in servant. Little is known about what happened to Joseph here, but I was told when visiting here by some of the locals that they believe that he was run over by the family horse, but there are no records of it, and nobody seems to know for sure. But you can tell by the design and the care of the monument that he was a very loved child. But this is the grave of the father, George Lyon. Passed away in 1922. He came over from Ireland. This is Catherine, his mother. Passed away in 1912. So she lived a pretty short life. But this monument is just, it kind of blows my mind because it really stands out here in the cemetery. It's, when you come in, you keep going straight. It's about halfway down on the left-hand side. But the care that went into putting this together is just fascinating to me. Now we'll walk over and I'll show you one more look at it. But as you can see, this statue is very lifelike. It is, I mean, a lot of A lot of work was put into this and a lot of attention to detail. And here's another O'Brien. This kind of spooked me out when I went by it, but there is a bust in here. Kind of show you going by it. But there are a lot of really neat monuments in here. Now there's way too much to show you all in one video. I'm going to do a full video here pretty soon. But there are a lot of very influential people from Chicago's history here. There are a lot of people here that I'm not exactly sure who they were, but they had very elaborate mausoleums such as this one, and I'd like to do a little bit more research. Today was just kind of I happened to be in Evanston, Illinois for something else, and I wanted to come and check out a couple sites here, but I'm going to do more research on this place and come back and do a more comprehensive video. But there are just some phenomenal stones and monuments and mausoleums here. Now it's hard to show how big this is, but this is probably maybe 20 feet tall. It's kind of hard to show from a video, but it's pretty impressive. And it's also hard to show how big this mausoleum right here is. Now let me walk up to it and try to show you guys just the size of this. Just absolutely beautiful here. It almost looks like a kind of a stone church here. But I hope you guys enjoy this this kind of short cemetery tour. Like I said, there will be a full tour. I'm going to be going through a lot of other Chicago cemeteries this summer. I will be getting back to LA and doing a couple LA ones and a couple others from around the country. And we're going to make sure that anything that you guys want to see cemetery-wise, grave-wise, different locations, let me know in the comments, and I will be sure to add it to the list of places to visit. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next video.